Good morning. It's Friday, only 2 weeks of school left, so I want to make sure everyone has excitement to finish strong, be responsible students. And Mrs. Quilty isn't here right now, but I have my morning drink, which is not coffee. I don't like coffee, but this is a lean protein shake, so it's good. It's chocolate flavored, which is better than coffee. A little coffee flavor is okay, but who wants coffee? Well, I guess a lot of people do. Okay, today I'm going to review. I want to start by reviewing the multiplication when we have two-digit multipliers. Now, let's just step back and do this really quickly. What if I say 20 times 10? Who knows what that is? Right, it's 200. We know that anytime we multiply times 10, we just add this 0, and we have 200. So what is 714 times 10? 714 times 10 would be, well, you're going to take 714 and add the 0, put your comma, so 7,140. Let's try this one. Let's go with 50,121 times 10. What is that? Okay, if you said 501, 210, you're right, because when you multiply by 10, all you have to do is add a 0 to the end, right? Okay, now we've been talking about having those donuts in place. Basically, what that means is that donut is you're multiplying by 10, and that donut is a 0. All right, so let's look at this. I'm just going to break this up again so you have another way of looking at it. All right, so this represents which would have been the donut. If I have 21 times 14. First, we're going to go ahead and multiply the ones place like we always do. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, actually, what we're actually doing here, we've already used that one. So we're actually going to multiply 21 times 10. So this little, what we've been using as a donut to place it, I'm going to use a magnet because I'm writing smaller. So this is the same as what we were using. So we're going to put that magnet there. That magnet, this actually would be 21 times 10 because we've already multiplied 21 times 4. So there's where you have the 21 times 4. Now we're going to say what's 21 times 10. So this right here represents that 0. So now what's 21 times 1? Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So that place right there, oh, I even used purple so it matches. That place right there, that would be, this would have been 21 times 10 for this row, okay? So here's when you're multiplying times the ones place. The next column down is where, not column, but level, is where you're multiplying by 10. So that's why we have that 0 there, because it's just like saying 21 times 10. Now let's look at this one. Oh, and then we have to add it, right? 4 plus 0 is 4, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 2 plus nothing is 2, and that's the answer. Now let's do it again. You know what? Let's change this. Let's make this one a 2. All right, so we're going to go ahead and multiply the ones place like we always do. So what is 2 times 3? I know you know it's 6. What is 2 times 4? Oh, I think I hear everyone saying 8 all of a sudden because you're really fast. Now, that's the ones place. Now we're going to multiply the tens place, which is 2 tens, and 2 tens is the same as 20. So we're going to do this like that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take what would be that 0 for the 20 because we've already multiplied the ones place, and we're going to put that 0 there, or a mini donut. I could use my big one, but I'm using the smaller one so it fits. So now let's go ahead. We've already done this, so I'm going to cross it out. Now we're saying 2, and look, it's the same digit, so it's going to be 86 again, but let's just go ahead and multiply in case you made a mistake the first time, okay? 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, Now let's add it. See that right here? That would be a 0 because you're actually multiplying that by 20. Okay? So 6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. And 1 plus 8 is 9. 946. So this donut that we've been using, I went down to a smaller donut, which is a smile. Now I'm down to a smaller donut, and let's just make it this little magnet because it fits right in there. And that's the same. And one thing that you would learn, this is free. We don't even have to know this year, but I'm going to just challenge a few of you because I know that a lot of you actually love a challenge. This is just free. This is just a challenge. So what do you think we're going to do there? That's for those of you who like a challenge. What do you think we're going to do there? Well, let's go ahead and do this one. 1 times, that's going to be just 213 because one of them. Okay, you can put a little check on it because we've already done it. Now, this right here is the same as 20 because it's 2 10s. So let's put our 0 there. 2 times 3 is, yes, 6. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now for you who like a challenge, we've already done that. What do you think we're going to do with that? Okay, what if this right here represents 100, right? Because there's 2 zeros. That's 100. That's 100. So for that one, you're going to put 2 zeros because anything times 100, we add 2 zeros to. So 100 times 7 is 700. 100 times 4,261, well, all you have to do is rewrite those digits back out and add these 2 zeros. Or, just for fun, let's use these 2 smiles. 2 smiles. Okay, now, no, we better not because that might be confusing, but add those 2 zeros and then put your commas. So when you're multiplying by a digit that has just like 100 or 200, all you have to do is add those zeros right there. So on this one, we have 2 zeros because we're multiplying by 100. And it's times 1, so I'm just going to go ahead and write that and add it all up. We're not even going to do this year. I just want to do that because I know that some of you really like a challenge. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 5 and, I already said the answer, didn't I? 4 and 1 is 5 and 2. 1, 2, 3, there you go. You have to know this year? Nah, that's just extra. Some of you like to know ahead. I like to know ahead, so every once in a while I like to give a little shout out for the things that are ahead. Let's review this one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and multiply. 5 times 2 is 20. 5 times 3 is 15, and then we have to add those 2 like we always do. So 15 plus 2 is 17. Now we're going to go ahead and put our donut, or in this case, let me go ahead and put the purple one. Where's the purple one? We're going to write it 0 because we've already done the ones place. Now that actually means times 10. So that's why you have that 0 here. So now that we've already used up this, go ahead and cross that out because you've already used it. Sometimes you have to, and I'll show you, that's the carrying. 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 3 is 3. Add that together. 0 plus 0. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5. 510. Okay, now we're going to look at your page for today. I'm actually teaching in Mr. Whiting's room today. Or at least, yeah, for Friday. And Mr. Whiting, would you please scroll and show us our today's page? Today is a review because next week we have a test in math. So we're going to review. Let's review this. Peter has a box of 132 crayons. The box is divided into 11 sections. There are the same number of crayons in each section. How many crayons are there in each section? So we want to know how many crayons in each. There's a clue word here that we can see is divided into. So that tells us right away that we're going to use the step of division. So I'm not going to answer that for you. I want you to go ahead and set it up. What information do you have? He has a box of 132 crayons. He's going to divide them into 11 sections. So I want you to think about what you're going to do there, and then you're going to check that work. Actually, today's answer sheet is on the slides for today, so don't check it until you're all the way finished though. Let's look at this one. Grayson wants to buy a Bible that costs $15.98 and a game that costs $7.95. He has saved $12. How much more does he need? All right, so this is a twofer. Okay, we have more than one step. First, we see the cost. Here's how much it costs. This is how much the Bible costs, and here's how much his game costs. So this is what he wants to buy. So you need to find the total cost. So think about, what am I going to do if I'm going to find the total cost of these two together? All right, now I want you to pause the video, work the problem, then turn it back on. Okay, you should have added these two because you know this is what he wants to buy. So $15.98 plus $7.95, this is what he wants to buy. So we're going to first add. 8 plus 5 is 13. 9 and 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. And 6 plus 7 is 13. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. This is the total cost. Now he already has some money saved. This is what he needs to save. And they need to know how much more money does he need to buy it. So if he has some saved and he has the total, we need to find the difference. Anytime we need to find the difference, we're going to do what? If you said add, you're wrong. If you said subtract, perfect, because that's what you need to do. So 93 minus 0, 0 is just going to still be 93. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. This is how much he still needs. So your label doesn't need to go behind it because you already have your label here, $11. Don't forget your decimal point. There's a big difference between $11.93 and $1,193. That's a lot. So make sure you get that decimal in there. Okay. Now, Mr. Whiting, will you scroll the screen up for me some, please? To 2, a little bit higher, please. And that'll be fine. Right there is good. All right, this is what I was practicing with you already. So make sure you multiply first times the 2. If you want to pause it, try it, and then turn it back on. That's what would be a good idea. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 equals 9. Now, it's a good thing to go ahead and cross out that plus 1. Sometimes when you're multiplying the tens place, sometimes you have to carry as well. So if you're carrying, then you'll need to cross out what you already added. But it looks to me like we won't have to because the tens place all is 1. Okay, so now we're over here, we're finished the ones place. So now we're going to multiply this times 10. So we're just going to go ahead and put that 0 there, or our donut. And we're just going to say 45 times 1. Well, that's pretty easy. I noticed the pattern in today, all of it is times 1. So that's easy right there, isn't it? But let's do that. Let's say if this was 45 times 32. No, it's not 32 just yet. Let's just leave it at 1 because there's a step that we're going to discuss next week that's in there. So 0 plus 0 equals 0. 9 plus 5 equals 4. Carry 14. Carry the 1 and 5. And I hope you got that answer. Okay. Now let's review averaging. Find the average. Then you're going to circle your answer at the end. So we're going to add all of those together. So that's going to be, I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. No, it's too little. You won't be able to see that very well from over there. So let's just move over here. 354 plus 921 plus 657. If you think you already know it, you can do it without any help. Pause the video. All right, here we go. So we're going to add these together. 4 and 1 is 5, plus 7 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 and 5 is 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. I like to see the 10, so 5, 10 plus 3 is 13. Don't forget to carry the 1 because I'm talking. Here I see this, 9 and 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 6 is 19. So this is the total. Now we're going to divide it. When we average, let me pull that a little bit higher so we have enough space. So 1,932, we're going to divide by how many different numbers we added together. So we added together 3. 1, 2, 3, so divide by 3. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. Okay, 3 goes into 1, none, no times. Just go ahead and move on to 19. How many times will 3 go into 19 without going over? 6 is right. 6 times 3 equals 18. Subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is nothing. Compare, is 1 less than 3? Yes. So now we need to bring down. How many times will 3 go into 13 without going over? Well, 3 times 6 is 18, so that's too much. 3 times 5 is 15. Let's go with 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is nothing. Compare, is 1 less than 3? And it is. Bring down the 2. How many times will 3 go into 12? And look, we already did that here. 3 goes into 2. 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. There's none left over. Circle your final answer. Okay? All right. Now, if you're a math whiz and you think you have it, or you just want to try it all by yourself, hit that pause again. I want you to work this one. Okay? Let's look at it. We have 14 cups minus 3 pints equals how many pints? So first of all, we have to see what is our answer in. What do we need our answer in? Pints. So we have to change everything to pints. Since this says cups, we're going to put blank pint minus, that's already pint, so 3 pints equals how many pints? We're going to box the one that's different. Cups and pints there are different. Let's do our steps. 1, 2, 3. What are we going to do? We have cups to pint. Is it greater to smaller multiply or smaller to larger divide? Which one's smaller? Cup is smaller than a pint, right? So we're starting small and we're going big, so we're dividing. So divide. Now our special number. How many of the smaller does it take to get to the larger? And we know that's 2. Make sure you're reviewing those measurement charts in the back of your math book. 2 cups equals 1 pint. So now we're going to divide. How many times will 2 go into 14? And that would be 7, right? So 7 minus 3 equals 4. So our final answer there is 4 pints. Okay, rounding to the nearest dollar. When you're rounding to the nearest dollar, look at the dimes place. If you have a 5 or greater or 50 cents or more, you're rounding up to the next dollar. If you don't, then you're just going to drop those zeros and stay at the dollar you're at. So here we have a 9. So 95 cents is definitely more than half. So we're going to round that to the next dollar. So instead of 101, we're going to have $102, no cents. You're going to put, anytime you're rounding to the nearest dollar, it means you're dropping your cents. $9.98 is closer to $10 because we have that 9 right there. What about $21.48? Look at your cents, 48 cents. Is that at least halfway? Is it 50 cents or higher? No, it's not. So you're going to drop that 48 cents and put zeros there. So $21 even. Okay. These I'm not going to work for you. You're going to work them and look at your answers on the page that's listed for you. Mr. Ryan, would you scroll to the next page, please? Now, I highly suggest that you even come back on Monday or before you take your test and review this, because this is the review for your test next week. Okay, this is really easy peasy right here. Actually, this has multiple steps. This is like doing a Speedy Sam. Like 4 plus 7 minus 3 plus 2. Okay, this is the same thing because all of the denominators are the same. You know that your answers are going to be 7 underneath. So here's what you're doing. 4 plus 2, I have to look at my sign because this is where it gets tricky. 4 plus 2, and then we're going to subtract. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. And 3 minus 1 is 2. On all of these, pause it first. Now look at this. You have to watch the sign. That's where it's tricky, Ricky. This one's plus, this is minus, this is plus. But you know because all those are 16ths that your answer, your denominator is a 16th. So really you're saying 5 plus 7 minus 4 plus 3. Okay, what are we going to do if we say 1/4 of 17? Remember, it's dividing by 4. And we're going to write the remainder as a fraction. So let's do that. How many times will 4 go into 17 without going over? Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 4 is 16, so that's 4 4, so 4, and then 17 minus 6 is 1, so our answer is going to be 4 times, and then we're going to write this remainder as a fraction, and 1/4. Remember on the test on the computer, it's going to go like that, because it can't do this right. Okay, so you're going to have that slash, it means the same thing. Okay, do the rest of these the same way. And then the divide and check. I am going to do this one with you. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, and bring down. 7 will not go into 1, so we're going to go right into 13. 7 will only go one time because 2 times 7 is 14, and 14 is too big. So 13 minus 7, subtract, is 6. Compare, is 6 less than 7? Yes. Bring down the 8. How many times will 7 go into 68? Well, think about it. And 9 is right. It's almost went in anyway, so it's like 10 up here, so you know it's going to be either 8 or 9. 7 times 9, remember, is 6 plus 3 makes it 9. When you add those digits together, it's always the 9s. So 8 minus 3 is 5. Compare, is 5 less than 7? Yes. Bring down the 2. And how many times will 7 go into 52? If you said 7, you're right, because 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract here. Don't just say don't say 7, because that's not right. Sometimes we see 2 digits and we want to just write the difference. But I have 7. I can't take away 9. So I'm going to borrow, make that 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. Now, this one doesn't say write the remainder as a fraction. So you're just going to go ahead and write remainder 3. Because you're going to check it and add that back. Only write it as a fraction if it asks you to. So 197 times 7. 7 times 7 equals 49. 7 times 9 is 63. 63 plus 4 is 67. 7 times 7 is, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 6 is 13. Now we need to add back our remainder. 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 plus 7 is 8. 3 plus nothing. 1 plus nothing. 1,382. 1,382. Good job. Okay, when you're reducing these fractions here, remember you're going to think of all the greatest common factors. What's a factor? Well, 5 times 2. Factor, factor, product. Okay, so the factors that are the same. Well, you can't do 2 because 35 is odd. But 5 is going to go in both of them, and actually that's the only common factor they both have. So we're going to divide both by 5. And then you're going to get your answer, which should be 2/7. Here, 14's even, but 21 isn't. But what can go into both of those? 7, right. So you're dividing both of those by 7, and you should get 2/3. What about these? 4, oops, I actually gave you the answer. Sorry about that. So 2 goes into both of those. Nothing higher goes into both of those. They don't have any higher common factor. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, the Roman numerals. With all of these, work it, pause it, work it, okay? I want to do these with you. Remember that we have L is 50, and then 4 is IV, so 54. 500 is D. Now we need 30. 30 is 3 X's, 10, 20, 30, and then 1 is I. 66, you're going to need the 50 plus 10 is 60, plus 5, 65, plus 1 more, 66. 470. Now, remember, we can only use 3 in a row, so we can't use 400s. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to put 500 minus 100. So we're going to put the C first, because C is 100. And when you put that in front of the D, which means 500, that means you're walking backwards, or 10 less than D, which is 400. So then you're going to do the 50, 60, 70. Okay. Remember that this is a brain booster. The dot is another way to write times. So this really means 12 times 10. This means 9 times 9. And here's your homework assignment. These answers are going to be on the back, but write the 5 division table on a separate piece of paper. I would challenge you to write the ones that, maybe write a couple more ones you're struggling with, like maybe the 9s or the 11s or the 7s or 8s, because you're struggling with it, and give you practice. Well, have a good Friday and be a responsible student. Enjoy your weekend off, and we'll see you back on Monday bright and early